All right, Nick, let's talk about the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Obviously, coming off of a big bowl game win, a lot of excitement down in Nebraska. But I think there's something amongst all that excitement that's gone a little bit under the radar. People haven't given enough credit to Matt Rule and company of what they've done. And that's something very special in the transfer portal. We'll get to that in just a minute. But before that, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. And Nick, as I alluded to, Nebraska Cornhuskers have done something pretty spectacular in the transfer portal this transfer portal season, I guess we'll call it. So far, they've gone out and really hit it very hard and got themselves very high up in the transfer portal ratings. Got a lot of really great players coming into Nebraska, and not enough people are talking about it. Let's get on into the article, and we'll talk about it on the other side. First, this is from SI.com. It says, Matt Rule wasn't shy about attacking the transfer portal this cycle. The Nebraska head coach dipped in and added 11 portal players. Nebraska's class is top 10 nationally by 24/7 Sports. The Huskers are number 10 overall and second in the Big Ten, trailing just Wisconsin. Two of the incoming Huskers rank in the top 20 of all transfers. Wide receiver Dane Key came in at number 10, while Edge Williams Nwaneri is number 16. The others in the top 200 include wide receiver Naziah Hunter at 76, linebacker Deshaun McCullough at 95, and cornerback Andrew Marshall at 197. Nebraska's incoming class could still grow throughout the month of January, with the College Football Playoff National Championship slated for January 20th. Players playing in that game will have through the 25th to enter the extended portal window. So, Nick, this just shows Matt Rule has gone out once again and hit the portal hard. We saw what he's done in recruiting. We know that he's able to build this kind of developmental team he's talked about, but he's done something a lot of people haven't talked about, and that's hit the portal hard and get a lot of really great players into Nebraska to fill in some gaps they had. Curious what your thoughts are about this one, but before we get to you, Cornhuskers fans, in the comment section below, I think this is a really good haul for Nebraska. There's a lot of good guys in this 11 portal players that are coming over. But who do you think is going to be the most impactful for this team? Is there one guy in particular that's going to fill a hole that you think is going to be left by someone leaving? Do you think someone's going to come in and really build on an area of weakness? Let us know who do you think is going to be the most impactful transfer portal guy in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about all of this for the Cornhuskers?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a solid job by Matt Rule, and it's important to understand he's not going out there and just trying to grab random, top flight talent, so to speak, just to make headlines. It's still part of the overall strategy about building a deep, well balanced football team, developmental program. Matt Rule always wants to be that. And if you look at the guys he went out and got, there's no five stars. There's no real sexy name that's jumping off the page. It's just a lot of good, solid football players. Whether they become stars or key depth pieces, we'll have to wait and see. But again, this is just what Matt Rule does. He's all about building a slow, steady program with no weaknesses, right? This is what he has done at Baylor. It's what he did at Temple. It's what he is doing at Nebraska with a really solid job. If you go through and look at all of these guys, you've got going at the top of the list, you've got corner, safety, linebacker, wide receiver, edge, long snapper, defensive lineman, quarterback, wide receiver, punter, right? It's there's not a lot of duplicity. He's not trying super hard to get the biggest, three quarterbacks, five wide receivers. There's a deep roster across the board. Line of scrimmage, front seven, defensive line, defensive backs, corners, special teams, quarterback, wide receiver. Every single opportunity he sees to make this team better, he's taking advantage of it without overexerting himself, and more importantly, not putting himself in a position to lose the developmental program moniker. Going into this offseason, Matt Rule actually, or this transfer portal season, like you said, Matt Rule actually came out and said, hey, listen, we're going to lose a lot of guys. It's just the way it is. But he's done a great job not overreacting to that. So many programs that lose a number of guys, and they just freak out and they just say we just got to replace everybody right away, and they just completely upheaval their roster with a lot of guys. It doesn't really make sense. Not a balanced team. They get like three running backs or something crazy like that, and the results end up being very ugly the following season. Matt Rule sticking to the plan, developing players. He's not upsetting the apple cart. It's going to be a meritocracy. That's how it is in Nebraska. Solid transfer portal window right here, doing a great job. Top 10 class. A little different than the way he's been in the past. He's been more focused on recruiting. But again, this is just the next step in the rebuild. It's a multi-step phase. We won the bowl game. It's time for the next step, hitting that function of now going from being an okay team, winning a bowl game, to being a better team, 8-9, maybe top 25 this season. See how it goes from there. And this execution in the transfer portal window so far is a sign that he's headed in that direction.
Yeah, Nick, and I think a couple things you brought up are really key points for Matt Rule and kind of just that plan that he has overall. It's like we've said, he's always been about building his base as a developmental team, getting his guys in here, really filling in the ranks. And like you said, he's prepared. He knows Nebraska. They're doing something a little bit different, and not everyone's going to want to stay around for that. They knew they're going to lose guys in the portal. Like you said, he's not going to be the type of guy to scramble and go try to grab a million guys out there. He has a plan. He has multiple guys in incoming classes to overlap, building depth at certain key positions. Like you said, meritocracy. This is a Nebraska team where the best players are going to play. And I think we've seen that slowly start to build here. I really think he's doing something special here as far as there was, like you said, no big time 5-star, super stud type of player that came in through the transfer portal. But there was guys that at their core were very, very good players, maybe got overlooked at their old programs. There was a bunch of guys who were former 5-stars, maybe now got knocked down to 4-star or 3-star. But there's a lot of guys who really looked good and they have solid potential. And that's what Matt Rule wants. He wants guys that have potential that he can develop into being really star players as well. So I think even through the transfer portal, there has kind of been that, I want guys that maybe have gone under the radar, maybe have a little bit to them. They just need a little bit of development and I can push them over the edge. So still, everything within his game plan, Nebraska looking really solid. I'm very happy with what Matt Rule's done so far.